get started, I just saw the other day it was National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. And you know, the 50th anniversary of Title IX. So I'm going to do some stuff, and I beg your forgiveness, but we got to talk about this campus and then some other things about women and what's happened for them here. Volleyball, our women's program won the national title. Player of the Year, Madison Lilly. Think about that. Jensen Castle won the U.S. Amateur. And I've got to look at these because there's a number of names here. Won the U.S. Women's Amateur in golf. Mary Tucker, Shooter of the Year, and silver medal at the Olympics. And our women's track, you think about this. Sydney McLaughlin won 2 medals. Jasmine Camacho won a gold medal. Kenny Harrison and Javion Oliver won silver medals. And how about softball? Abby Steiner won a national championship and set college records. Kaylee Kowalik, best catcher in softball. I'm sorry, Abby Steiner was track. And swimming and diving won their first SEC title. Our women's basketball team, they come in our practices. The same with me. I'm here to help all of them. But I'll tell you what, they have to be recognized for what they're doing. Now, I got to do this. We started the McLendon Initiative. And we coaches, what we said was, you know, if we want to have more diversity within athletics, we're going to have to step up and do something ourselves to get it started. The McLendon Foundation, the McLendon Leadership Initiative, that's what it was about. It was not only men of color. It was about women running athletic departments, being presidents of universities, running businesses. And so I'm going to name some names who have gone through the program or in the program that are females right now. Ro Rhodes, you all know her. I think she could be an athletic director within 10 years. I really believe that. Verona Clark, Erica Hansard, who's here now, Serena Hyatt, Gabby Little, Alexis Mallory. These aren't just at Kentucky. These young ladies are all over the country. Michelle McLeod, Jasmine Folston, Nicole Snyder, Taylor Buford, Lauren Harris, Simone Wark, Tori Tia Joseph, Denise Bradford, Bria Cade, Erica Bennett, Whitney Ashley, Tori Ray, Divya Tunway, Rosa Jones, DeAndre Whaler. And again, I'm doing this without glasses. I should get 2 claps for that. DeAndre Greer, Cameron Almarez, Avery Salvador, Faith McGee, Maria Yim, Jasmine Wooten, and Ishita Tiberwall. Now, why I say all those names? This is the beginning, and what we hope is these young ladies make a change for all of us. That they go from what they're doing within athletic departments, moving up within athletic departments, being in the NBA, which some of them now are, going to the NFL, which some of them now are, and having opportunity. This is about access and opportunity. It is not a hand out, it's a hand up. Access and opportunity. And when I call coaches about their McLendon leaders, I'm telling you the biggest term they use, stars. They are stars. This woman, we're hiring her here. Ro Rhodes is with the Bobcats. I mean, that's what this is about. And what's happening on this campus for women and how all they need is the chance. And you see what happens. Anyway, I thought that was important that I did that today.
We'll start with John Clay on questions.
John, since you brought up the McLendon Initiative, how does that fit into the context of Brian Flores's class action suit against the NFL over their hiring practices?
I don't, I haven't followed it closely, so I don't know. All I'll say to you is we coaches are in a position, if we want to see more minorities, and maybe someday a female head coach in men's basketball. There are men in the women. How about there's a woman in the men's game? And then if that woman goes and does a heck of a job, you know what will happen. It changes things. And so we're about access and opportunity. This is not saying someone's going to get it. They just need an opportunity to get it. Now, how does that happen in our sport? The person hiring that coach got to kind of look like him and feel comfortable with him or her. And that means you kind of look like him, and all of a sudden that we don't have that right now in college athletics. And we coaches stepped up. And this is from, and I, Nick Saban, I can name names, football. Gina R.A.M. has stepped up. There are women's coaches. There are coaches from across the country in basketball, baseball. Our coaches here all stepped up. We have 5. All it is access, opportunity. Let these, you don't want to hear, well, no one applied. Well, we're stepping up and financially investing in these young people. So it's been a good start. We're only 2 years in. And of the 35 last year, I believe 21 got jobs. We need to go 5 to 10 years to really see the impact of this. Maybe 15, all of a sudden you say, you know what? There was a breakthrough. They're young right now. They need to get in their mid-30s and now see if we can, who bounces through? Who's the deputy? Who's the AD? How about we have a couple college presidents here? How about we have people that run businesses here? And they look back and say, I just needed a chance to show who I am. Very hard to get these positions. You have to go through an interview process. And then you have to go through another interview process on a college campus or Zoom. Who is going to hire you? Very hard to get these. 700 applied for 31 positions last year. Hard to get. And they're college graduates. Some of them already had jobs. Some of them have advanced degrees that are willing to come back and jump in this program to see where it goes. Some of them are married with kids. It's great. I'm enjoying it, watching it, listening. Cesar Adem, who was with us last year, sent me a text 5 minutes before I walked in this room. Basketball ops position in Maryland. So, that's the kind of stuff, Coach, appreciate it. I mean, come on. We have a chance as coaches to do this. And you know what's great and what I'm proud of? There's not one coach that said no to me. There was no one that says, I already do all my stuff and I don't want them. And no, we are here. There was no coaches doing that. They're like, where do I send a check to? What do I do? How do I do this? And then the McLendon Foundation within the Athletic Directors Association. We're working through the Athletic Directors Association to pull this off. Tony Monifo, who's doing all the interviewing, a Kentucky graduate who's doing stuff for us pro bono. Unbelievable job that, the pro staffing has done. So hope that answers that question.
Yeah, John, a couple of things. You were talking about McLendon being about access and opportunity. Isn't that the same situation the women were facing 50 years ago before Title IX?
Yes. Yes, and if you ask them now, they'll say we're still facing it. And so that's why when we started this, right away we were talking about, look, this isn't just for men now. And what we're finding out, some of these young ladies are stars, smart. They'll speak their mind. They're not afraid. They have a different temperament as far as how they deal with issues. When you talk to them and hear it, I'm not saying they're better or worse. I'm just saying they just need access and opportunity.
The other thing, have you seen the video with Davion talking about the young fan at Kansas?
I didn't see it. I just heard about it today at coffee. So my buddy Steve mentioned it to me, and I did not see it, but I'll talk to him today when we go to practice.
I was wondering, could you speak to the impact on players and even the impact on you when you hear stories like that?
Yeah, it's, let me say this to our fans, again, that are around the country. It's so good to have you back in the building, back connected. I mean, our fans are an army that if anybody attacks one of our players or me and tries to make me out to be something that I'm not, our true fans, oh my goodness, they step up. And then for us all, coaches and players, to see the impact we have. I can't tell you how many letters I get that to call or to send letters back to or do. And I'll be honest with you, I do most of them that I can get to because I know the impact. I saw it when we went down to West Kentucky. I could feel it. Just being there makes people, there's a responsibility, guys and ladies, that go with that, which is you cannot sit behind your desk and watch tape. You have to get involved. It's your, everything you do. You can't say, I'm just coaching basketball, not here. It's your obligation.
Kyle Tucker?
I wondered for you, dealing with this group of mostly veteran guys, a lot of guys who kind of know things, who've had some life experiences. You probably have some different kind of conversations with them than you might with a freshman. Has this been a refreshing kind of experience for you this season to be around a bunch of grown-ups, for lack of a better word?
Well, Reed and I used to laugh. Reed Travis and I used to talk politics. And the other players would look at us like, who are you talking about? Who's that? And he and I are going, Senator Klobuchar was a friend of their family, so I really respect. I think she's really good at what she does. And we would go back and forth and we would talk. This group, they get my jokes. They understand what they got a responsibility to each other. They're not so consumed with themselves because they've been through this and they understand they can't do it alone. We need each other. I've never had a team cheer. Well, I have, but this team is cheering for each other because the clutter that comes at them is not all about them. You this, you have to do this. Don't worry about that. You. These are more, they're adults. They can shut phones off. I'm not going to talk. I got to go. Bye. Others have to hear it because they're not old enough to say, stop. I don't want to hear that. So when you have older guys, it's a different, I've had older teams in the past. I just didn't since I've been here.
John Hale?
Kellen has played a lot of minutes the last 4 or 5 games.
Too many minutes. Too many minutes. Too many minutes.
What
Yeah.
about him makes him successful, I guess, to leave him out there that long?
Because anytime I say, do you need one? I'm good. And the first thing I do is I go look at the sprint grade out. Where does he grade out on the sprints? And they're all A's and only a couple B's. And we're flying. And he's defending. And he's trying to rebound. And he's talking. And he has suggestions. but I'm playing him too many minutes. I'd like to get his minutes down to 30, 28. It's hard to play 38 minutes.
John Wong.
Hey, John, I marvel at your composure up there on the podium. Recently, we've seen a lot of basketball coaches kind of lose it in front of the media. And you've been doing this a long time. You've been asked a lot of inane questions over the years. I think I've only heard you curse maybe one or two times in front of us. But I see you go crazy on the court out there. How are you able to just kind of flip the switch and kind of keep things under control when you're speaking with us?
So when people like you ask me really dumb questions, let me say this, what happens. I am a sinner, and I go to Mass every morning so that I can try to clean everything off and get out there and start sinning again. But I say this to you, that if you take this like life or death, you die a lot. And, you know, you all are trying to do your job. The only person that bothers me in the media is the guy that has the agenda that he's going to prove himself right. Then I get bothered by that person. Like, I'm going to prove that Cal's this and this. Or that guy that thinks he's bigger than everything, and it's about him. That guy would bother me. The other stuff, like you asked me about the stuff with Davion, I'm not following it. I got to coach 12 guys and get these kids together, so I'm not following it. And most cases, if I'm really upset with somebody, I'll just be short. I'll give them yes or no. And then you guys will say, why is he mad at him? I'll give them a yes or no answer. Yes, no, next. You know, I mean, I'm not here to embarrass anybody. I'm not here to say I'm going to prove that guy is this way. I don't have time. My new line is to my staff, and they think I'm crazy. I am like a submarine commander. I'm in a submarine in a tube. I don't need BS throwing it against the wall. Give me the facts. What's the radar say? What's the film say? I don't have time. And with all the stuff I've got to do for these kids, really don't have any time for that. I mean, do I like all of you? I went to Mass. I'll go to Mass tomorrow. Yes, I really do. I'll be in Mass tomorrow, so I'm fine. I really do. But, you know, everybody's going to have an opinion of this. Here's the difference, what's happened to media, why coaches go crazy. Guys need eyeballs now. It was never that way before. So the most outrageous thing I say, the most outrageous thing I can bring up, I get more eyeballs. Whose eyeballs are they all trying to get? The BBN. And so my suggestion to the BBN, if someone's attacking me or our players, don't go in it. Don't go on the radio. Just back away from it. Let them do what they're doing. Don't give them your eyeballs. You don't give them the eyeballs, they'll go right about somebody else.
Last two questions. Dylan Ballard and then Jerry.
Hey, if anybody wants this for the stuff with the McLendon, the names, ask Deb and she can send it to you, okay?
Hey, Cal, we were talking just a second ago about Kellen and his minutes. I saw this morning that he was the leading three-point shooter in the SEC. In his minutes, would you like to give him more shots, or would you like to kind of stay where he's at in the offense?
Well, he needs to, look, we're going to take 30% of our shots will be threes, 28%. That's history for me, okay? Our stuff has been consistent. We've gone to dribble drive and positionless and other things, but that part of it, the sharing, we have right now, I think 5 or 6 guys that have scored 25 points and 2 others, maybe 5, and 2 others that scored 17. That's a normal year for us. That's what we try to do. We try to have plus rebounds. We try to hold people at 40%. We like to get block shots. We do not like steals. I mean, and so when you say more, all right, if he's taking more, what does that mean? Someone else is getting less. And there have been games now that he's 0 for 7. And then there's other games where he's 6 out of 7. So I'm liking how he's playing. I just think I'm playing him too many minutes. If you talk to him, he'll say, I'm fine. I don't know what he's talking about.
Jared, finish us off.
John, about the game tomorrow.
What game? We have a game tomorrow?
That's the rumor.
Okay.
And I hope it is tomorrow, by the way. I heard you said on your show maybe move to Sunday. I assume you can get out.
We think so. At this point, we're going to be able to get out.
Good. The Alabama coach has talked about how up and down his team is. Really good against some ranked teams, highly ranked teams, and then they've lost some games that you scratch your head. How does that impact preparation when the opponent is kind of up and down?
You got to watch more tape. You got to watch tape when they didn't play as well. Was it the other team or them? And then you got to play. You got to watch tape when they really played well. Did they do something different? Was the other team doing something that led to them to play well? So you get bogged down in tape. And what you try not to do, as you guys know me, I'm more concerned about how my team plays than somebody else's. And if they're at our best and we're at our best and they beat us, we move on to the next game. But you're always trying to take a couple things away from them, and then you're trying to take advantage of a couple things on offense. Not much, because at the end of the day, you're on the road. They beat some of the top-ranked teams in the country. It's going to be a really hard game for us to win. We know that. But again, so I'll tell you what happened yesterday. I came in, we had a film session, went home, sat in my chair, and had no desire to come back for that 3 o'clock practice. None. Like, I was thinking of calling in saying I got COVID. Just anything. I didn't want to go in. So I went in. Now, when I told the players, if I feel that way, I know you feel that way. Let's get a good hour in. And you know what? You talk about a veteran group. You talk about a group that understands. And they did it. The second thing I had to show them was, if anybody watched the Vanderbilt tape, how do you think teams are going to come out and play us? What do you think they're going to do? Jerry, you watched it. What do you think they'll do?
Be physical.
Beat us up. Grab, do whatever. Push, block out, facing the guy. Do whatever you want. Just, how about on a screen, Jerry? What are they telling them to do? When you go to screen Kentucky, bang them. Yeah, bang them. So now I said, we have to enjoy that kind of game. You can't shy away from it. If they want to play that way, we got to win anyway. But that's the kind of stuff, when you have a veteran team, they understand. If you're a guy that shies away from that kind of play, you're going to play less. Accept it. But the biggest thing for us and you as a player, I said it's like math. I couldn't stand math. So I got B pluses instead of A's. Literally, I got some D's in math because I couldn't stand math. Calculus, I couldn't even spell calculus, let alone take it. Well, if I can't stand it, how am I going to be in it? Not good. It's the same with that kind of play. If you got to relish it and take joy in it, come on. And then the back and forth. Now, my thing is, if they do it to us, we got to be able to do it to them without my guys getting 4 and 5 fouls. Let us all do it. But let's relish it. And let's go. Here we go. If you want to play that way, we're playing. So those are the kind of messages that I'm giving. And on a day where we were all exhausted. And I didn't play, but I was into the game.
One other thing, if I can. You guys are Alabama's third highly ranked opponent straight in a little over a week. How difficult is that for any team to gear it up that way again in such a short period?
Way easier than trying to gear it up for a team you think you can beat. That's hard. That's hard. The other way, they'll play. They know who they're playing. It's going to be sold out like always. I mean, it's going to be, they could say this game's, it's Kentucky. Here we come. So they'll be ready whether they played 4 ranked teams. And the crazy thing is they beat one and played well in the other.